Hello, fellow netizens, and welcome to Scandalous Games, the show where we take a closer look at video game-related controversies. I'm Kevin Impellizeri, and I do the research and share a story of a video game-related controversy to my friends. However, we're taking a break for the summer, and this is Scandalous Games Summer, so we're going to be doing, as we did last year, some syncable audio commentary tracks of some video game-related movies. With this time, we are doing the 1989 Nintendo advertisement slash coming of age movie, The Wizard. And who am I joined with today?
I am Andy Hunter, a longtime fan of all things Nintendo. I did see this movie in the theater when it came out, and I have not seen it since. I've seen the memes about the Power Glove. It's so bad, but otherwise I don't remember a ton. So yeah, this will be an interesting trip down memory lane.
Yeah. Bit of a Spartan cast this week. It's just going to be you and I, but I figured, we're both roughly, 40-something people who were basically the target demographic for this movie as, Nintendo kids of the 80s and 1990s. I saw it last week just to make sure that my copy of it worked correctly, and that was the first time I had seen it in about 5 years, I think. So I think this should be a lot of fun. You also answered my question I was going to have, Andy, if you had seen this movie before. And so you saw it in the theater, huh? Do you have any early memories of seeing it?
I remember during the final stretch where they're at the grand unveiling of Super Mario Brothers 3, and there's like a montage of kids playing, and one of the kids was in one of the Toad houses where you're like lining up like roulette style the different tiles to try to get extra lives, and a kid misaligned it and he or she went like, oh darn, or whatever. And I remember thinking, oh, dummy, you just match them together, not having played the game yet, realizing like, oh no, you have to like time your button presses correctly. And I just thought that the kid didn't know how to put together the simplest puzzle in the world. So that is my that is really my main memory. Oh, and I remember Fred Savage going, oh, you got 15,000 in Double Dragon, which, having not played Double Dragon, I don't know if that's an unfathomably high score or not.
Yeah, I was aware of this movie, but I didn't see it till I was like in college, I think.
Oh.
My first exposure to actually sitting down and watching this movie, and the copy we're actually watching is because I went to when I was in grad school, there's like an old school like video store that was going out of business down the street from where I lived. And they were going out of business and just selling off their DVDs. And the one I got was The Wizard. That was
Mm.
there because I'd always been aware of it. I'd heard about like the jokes about the Power Glove and stuff like that. And then I think I watched it for the first time maybe a year after that, and then I didn't watch it for years. And then I think I was bored during the pandemic, and I watched it, and then again to watch it to just to make sure this thing still worked because data rot is a real thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give you a back of the box description for this movie, and then we'll get started. So here's how the back of the DVD copy, at least, says this: support physical media if you can. Fred Savage stars in this warm-hearted family adventure that features the excitement and thrills of video game competition. Corey Savage refuses to let his emotionally disturbed younger brother Jimmy, Luke Edwards, be institutionalized, and the two run away together. They soon join forces with a resourceful girl, Jenny Lewis, who notices that Jimmy has a special talent. He is a wizard at video games and gets the high score on absolutely everything he plays, evading their parents and a sinister bounty hunter. The trio head for a climactic showdown at the Video Game Championship in California. Co-starring Beau Bridges and Christian Slater, it's an inside look at the world of video gamers that will have you cheering the whole way. Well, I suppose we'll be the judge of that today.
Yeah. From what I'm remembering, I think the advertising very heavily leaned on the fact that this was basically going to be the world's, or at least the Western world's, first glimpse of Super Mario Brothers 3. Because I think that's the only reason I was excited about it. Like, had it been a movie about a kid who was a basketball prodigy or a chess prodigy or something, and everything else been the same, I don't think I would have had any interest in seeing this movie at all. But yeah, we'll see if now as an adult, do I have a greater tolerance for the coming of age for, basically the other 95% of the movie.
Perhaps the top billing of this film should not have been Fred Savage. It should have been Super Mario Brothers 3, because I imagine
Uh,
it's probably a lot of the reason people went to see it. When it premiered on December the 15th, 1989. And as we go, I'll pull in some facts. I found some really cool interviews, particularly from its director, Todd Holland, and from Luke Edwards, plays one of the main characters in the film. And I'll pull in random facts, and I thought the rest of it will just nerd out over a movie that is just very, very much about a 100-odd minute commercial for Nintendo. And I'll pull in some contextual stuff as we go too. But why don't we dive into it then? All right, for the benefit of our listeners, I'm watching a DVD copy of this, but it is a 1 hour and 40-minute film. We are currently queued up at the 10-second mark. And if you have synced yours up correctly, you will just see the straight up Universal, an MCA company logo with the Earth with some accenting of I suppose the Milky Way swooshing and swirling around it in kind of a shape of like a sideways eight almost, not or like a diagonal eight almost. So that's what you should see if it's queued up. Also, this is just completely unscripted. We are just going to react to what we see, and hopefully that provides something that is entertaining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a countdown: three, two, one, go. And on go, you're going to play the movie. So here we go. Our Scandalous Games syncable commentary of The Wizard, queued up at 10 seconds. We're going to start the movie. Three, two, one, go. That Earth just spinning there. The captioning just indicating rock, not saying any music that's there.
all right. I feel like as a kid, I was probably reacting like desert. This does not look like Mario. Let's get to Mario.
And because you hadn't played Super Mario Bros. 3 probably, because that came out in February of 1990. I mean, we then knew that there is, of course, a desert level in Super Mario
Mhm.
Bros. 3.
All right, so we've got a small child walking through a desert, perhaps on a desert road, it looks like, as the opening credits play.
And nothing is around him for what looks like miles. And
Yeah, yeah, I mean, obviously, as an adult looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely a kid who was dropped off in a production van 10 minutes ago, just, a couple of minutes down the road.
say, son, did you wander off from the film crew again? Yeah, this movie, it takes place. The majority of it takes place in Utah, and most of it is a trip from Utah to California, which it's like you're just wandering through deserts. Like there's a darker version of this movie where the kids just do not make it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I see he's carrying what looks like an old-fashioned one of those metal children's lunch boxes that one can only assume is just entirely filled with water, given the fact that he's not dragging himself. Oh, here's a little small crop duster
Little
style
flying
plane.
plane.
So we just had a real north by northwest moment as that plane flew like 30 feet over this kid.
Good Lord, that plane is so low. Oh, also, do you see how the plane just shook a little bit at the end
Wow,
there?
yeah, I have to assume the real life pilot of that plane was feeling not that great about flying so low and just really struggling to keep it steady.
My wife. No, that was a bad joke. I'm sorry. I made a
Yeah.
bad joke to a bad joke. The my wife sucks kind of thing. I apologize already. We're minutes into this. I'm not sure
All
how
right,
that
so
I'm not sure how that's relevant. The fact that she's remarried.
Wait, so they're referring to his mother lives on just the south side of town, seeming to imply that they are not far from town right now. Who maybe just, over that ridge there's there's a town, and maybe I guess this kid's maybe only been walking an hour or two or something. Um, it looks like they're just in like fuck all middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I've maybe been spoiled living in the Northeast my whole life, where everything is really tightly packed together. Maybe like having a town that's 100 miles away from another town is normal in Utah. I don't know.
Yeah.
This guy, this actor, I've seen him in a bunch of he will play your 1980s douchebag in a movie.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, me having moved to New Zealand last year, I'm attempting to one day be an actor who can exploit my American accent. I would love to have a niche like that of
Uh,
just, oh yeah, we need a guy with an American accent who can play put upon guy or frustrated guy or uh, bland doormat guy or something. I would happily have a typecast niche.
there's a have you ever seen the documentary That Guy from That Thing?
I have not.
It's all about jobbing actors like that. Like they're what they call
Nice.
that guy actors, where like you recognize somebody and they're never like a leading guy, but they're always like they have one of them, he describes himself as a plot mover.
Hmm.
He's like, I'm a guy who's supposed to look like your boss and needs to tell you in the trailer you're bankrupt. Um
So not even like people who would often be called character actors, but even just like yeah, like not even like second or third fiddle, but like I'm in two scenes.
yeah. So to button that actor, his name is Sam McMurray, and he has like over 200 credits to his name.
Oh, yeah.
Beau Bridges, of course.
So he's
Christian
cooking a
Slater.
casserole in what is not even really a casserole dish. I don't know that I've ever seen a circular casserole dish.
Oh, did you see the what appears to be like mac and cheese in the measuring cup on the stove
Oh
too?
yeah.
So of course Christian Slater coming off of I believe this is his first role right after Heathers, which awesome movie.
Mm.
Beau Bridges, of course, accomplished actor, brother of Jeff Bridges and father of the comedy, or his father was the comedy legend Lloyd Bridges, R.I.P. Dad, shut the fuck up.
All right, so we will see if this movie is a particularly sensitive portrayal uh, of a special needs child.
Trying his horrendous casserole. It's clearly overcooked, and I do appreciate that detail that it's not in it is a casserole that's not in a casserole dish. I imagine he doesn't have a casserole dish. Have a couple of beers,
Yeah.
talk this out.
All right. So these are two brothers, and I guess their dad had gotten married to then it sounds like another woman who's not their biological mother, and then then those two parents had now this special needs child who had been wandering in the desert, and now they are divorced. And so
Yeah.
that mother has custody of that child.
Yeah. Beaubridge is supposed to be an incredibly divorced person. And that's but yeah, my understanding of the way is yeah, they reveal I think the reason why their marriage fell apart and all this stuff, but like yeah, they are separated. They the custody of Jimmy is in the mother with again with 1980s douchebag guy Sam McMurray. He might be a wonderful man in real life, but he also often plays assholes in movies. But Fred Savage, of course. Best known at the time at the Wonder Years. Did you ever watch the Wonder Years, Annie?
I did watch The Wonder Years. I also, as a kid, liked the movie Little Monsters,
Oh, with
which
Howie
Fred
Mandel,
Savage
right?
was. Yeah.
I have a distinct memory when I was a kid, I must have been like 7 years old, us getting KFC because we'd not get KFC very often, but like having KFC and watching Little Monsters as
Mm.
like a picnic, like with a little blanket on the front on the in the living room and watching that movie. But yeah,
I'll
I
be interested.
oh good, good.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'll be interested in this movie to see just is Fred Savage's character more of a kid, or is it more of the in the mold of he's basically an adult in a tween or young teen's body, the way I feel like in Little Monsters and The Wonder Years he was. Like I think the only other thing I've seen him in where he actually was more like a kid was The Princess Bride.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is presumably the youth home where his brother Jimmy is, which the 80s were a different time. They say the past is a foreign country. Just the lack security. He just let himself into that chain link fence and just wandered in.
Yeah, well, I guess like no wonder Jimmy can just wander off into the desert whenever he wants.
Yeah. What am I paying you people for? He wandered off for the seventh time. It seems like the kind of place where they've got like one of those signs that's like no youth disappearances in so many days, and they have to keep
Yeah.
resetting it. Look at
Yeah.
this.
All right. So yeah, this I guess is a movie that doesn't really have an inciting incident. It's like we haven't seen a big moment that has made Fred Savage now want to take Jimmy. Like, because it's not even like it would have been one thing even if we saw him getting the news that Jimmy has run away from the home again and been found in the desert where he could have died. But no, instead he's just like, oh, casserole, fuck this. I'm gonna go rescue my brother.
You ever make a casserole so bad your kid runs away?
Yeah.
So they jump
Wait,
into
they were seen hopping a truck? So somebody saw them hop in a truck and then did jack shit about it.
Okay, what am I paying you people for? They eat them.
And it is also interesting to to say like so they're like, oh yeah, the mom has custody. But really I guess like the nursing home or that like home has custody.
Yeah, they basically institutionalized this guy, the kid bounty hunter, Mr. Putnam. I have a I have a fun some fun facts about the guy who plays Mr. Putnam. He is played by Will Seltzer, and Will Seltzer, according to the director Todd Hyland, he got the role because the two guys went to acting class together when they were younger, and he recommended him for it.
hmm.
He plays a bounty hunter for children. He is paid to capture kids.
Oh, yeah, he's got a bolo tie and everything.
We also just talked over the whole fact that like they snuck out in a hostess truck.
Yeah.
I I want the scene and it's not there. I want the scene of them sneaking into that hostess truck. And like at what point does the hostess truck driver become aware of their presence?
All right. Oh yeah. So now the bounty hunter is threatening the dad and Christian Slater. I only get paid if I bring those kids in. If anybody else rescues those kids, I'll make them regret it.
It's like you ever see the movie The Outlaw Josie Wales?
No.
Oh, it's a good Clint Eastwood movie, Clint Eastwood Western from the 70s. And there's this whole thing where he encounters a pair of bounty hunters and he finds these bodies like dying. He says, dying ain't no way of living. Capturing kids ain't no way of living.
Mm. All right, so everybody else in the world knows that they're in this hostess truck, except the driver of the hostess truck, apparently.
He came out. That dude came out with a stack full of Wonder Bread or Hostess bread. Or, I said Hostess bread. I think it's supposed to be Wonder Bread. How did
Yeah,
he get the Wonder Bread and not notice the two children in the back of that
well,
very small truck?
presumably the back of the truck was just so full that he couldn't fit that last tray in, and so he had that just on the passenger seat next to him. And that's so weird that we see them jumping in, and then we immediately like cut to then that next scene was the parents reacting to them having escaped. There's just like, is
I
the
also
whole movie going to have that breakneck pace? I wonder.
I also noticed the slogan of Hostess is Hostess and kids they go together, which I guess is they lingered pretty long on that logo for Hostess. I guess that they like yeah, I guess they go together because when you're smuggling children across the desert. And now they are going across the highway on a skateboard.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we've been talking over it, but I guess we're meant to believe that they are going to California, which is like the only word Jimmy seems to say, I
Yeah,
guess.
he is fixated
Um
on going to California, and so Fred Savage has resolved Goblin Valley. They are camping out in a cave in Goblin Valley.
I wonder if that's even a real place. I have heard of Death Valley, but maybe they thought that's too dark. Two ill-prepared children hiking across Death Valley would definitely die. Let's say they're in a place called Goblin Valley.
I was going to make a joke that that's like a very lazy DM style name, but actually, I learned something today. There's a
Hmm.
place in Utah called Goblin Valley State Park.
Okay.
So that is a real place. And looking at the photos of this, is like there you've definitely seen photos of shots of Goblin Valley when they've done movies where they involve deserts, like
Hmm.
westerns. And our first appearance of an NES game,
All
Double
right.
Dragon.
Yeah, back in the 80s, you could have a video game start with just a thug punching a woman in the stomach and kidnapping her.
You could also be an unsupervised minor going into presumably a bus station or whatever and ask, how far can I get for
Yeah.
27.30? And there's nothing there.
Yeah.
The cops are here to rough some kids up or something.
Yeah, and so that is interesting. Like it'd be one thing if oh, not 15,
Hmm.
50,000.
I
Yeah,
don't
so it's
know.
interesting.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say that the car pulling up, the police car pulling up, we heard over the radio that those kids were spotted. So it's not even just coincidentally a cop is here and then these two kids are or Fred Savage is paranoid. But no, he legitimately knows that any cop he encounters will be searching for them, I guess.
Well, I only know this because I watched this movie recently. I think it's a different call for like kids who are throwing rocks somewhere. So of course someone's going to
Oh,
call.
okay.
Someone has decided they're going to escalate the situation and get the police involved.
Well,
This is a spacious basement in this. I
uh,
guess it's a garage. Is like a maintenance. Like is this like a?
oh yeah, I guess that looks like it could be a bunch of but little boxes of screws and stuff. Maybe it's a
Well, that escalated quickly. So this is the actress playing Haley. This is Jenny Lewis. Jenny Lewis eventually got out of acting and became a pretty accomplished musician. She was the lead singer of a band called Rilo Kiley.
Yeah, I've heard I think one of Rilo Kiley's songs.
Yeah, I've also I feel like I've only heard she's a good singer though. She's a good vocalist.
All right, I'll say there. So they're gonna bet bet a bus ticket on Jimmy beating her in Double Dragon.
It's also like they're going for high school. They could just play together. Double Dragon is famously a two player
Yeah.
game. I actually have a confession. I'd never really played Double Dragon until very recently. It's just one of those games that kind of slid under my radar. I played it last week the other day on English. It's pretty fun. I like Double Dragon. The music is great. I'm gonna beat those guys up.
Oh,
There's a
that's
fun.
it. Well, that,
Good.
oh, I was just gonna say Double Dragon is another movie we could comment do a commentary on one time.
Don't think I haven't thought about that. It's
Ugh.
funny you mention that because um me and Phil, of course, friend, Phil Thomas here. We were in the Italian market a couple years ago, and we stopped into a shop out there, and I got a copy of the VHS copy of Double Dragon for 50 cents.
No, very
I
nice.
was like, I'm not gonna not get it for 50 cents. That is
Yeah,
a weird ass movie.
yeah.
And great, exciting announcement for the for those listening. Also, co-host Kate is also jumping on. We're really excited to have them.
Hey,
Yo,
Kate.
Hey,
So yeah, Kate, to bring you up to speed, Christian Slater and Bo Bridges here are trying to retrieve Fred Savage and Jimmy. Fred Savage has sprung Jimmy from a home for children with special needs,
and
and
they're
it's
trying
a tough time to be in the 80s right now. Jeez.
to. And Jimmy wants to get to California. He won't say why, but they're wandering that way. And so Bo Bridges as his dad, and Christian Slater as their brother, trying to track them down.
wait.
See, this is why eating and driving is really dangerous.
Does Bo Bridges in this movie like run a landscaping company or something? Why did he have a tree in the back of that truck?
Yeah, he wears a hat, and Jimmy wears a hat of a landscaping company,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's of his dad. That tree goes through quite an adventure through this movie. It's just like sticking up this like 8 foot tree in the back, just sticking to the back of their pickup truck.
But that's wait. I don't. So in the span of one line, without really even a beat between, she's like, "This kid's so great at video games. Why do you want to take him to California?" Like, well, wait, those two are not connected thoughts.
They don't support video games in California.
Yeah. It'd be a different movie if they want to go to like Seattle where Nintendo of America is based. Why? I guess it's just not as fun to say Washington State.
Yeah.
So I read a bunch of interviews that have retrospectives about from people who made this. So like Todd Holland has sat in a couple of interviews, the director of this movie, to talk about his experiences getting this. So the person who wrote it was a studio executive, a guy named I'm gonna get his name. I'm gonna mess his name up. So the studio executive writes this movie. David Chisholm. They're in the works with this. They get an agreement with Nintendo to make this movie, and Todd Holland has been very public about that. Like his pitch to the studio, to Universal, in making this movie is that he was not a fan of video games. I guess because he felt like they'd be too reverent to the clear, blatant advertising in this movie. Um, so this character Kate is a a bounty hunter for children,
He's a vagrant. He's slashing tires over here.
and he is
Oh,
competing with Beau Bridges and Christian Slater because if he does not abduct these children before Beau Bridges gets his child, he won't get paid.
okay.
So a
Well,
lot of this movie is him sabotaging, and
uh-huh.
then Beau Bridges having violent reactions to him.
Well, I mean, yeah.
This is what
Wait,
happens, Larry. This is what happens.
well, I mean,
He did just slash the guy's tires. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
then he
just got
threatened him
here,
with a
but
knife.
uh-huh, yeah. Fuck around and find out. I mean,
Well, yeah, I'm surprised. If I were Beau Bridges, the first thing I would have gone for would have been his windshield because
yeah.
it's so much harder to drive with a totally busted
Yeah,
windshield
yeah, yeah.
than
There's another cut of this movie where Beau Bridges impales him with that shovel.
yeah. Oh man.
Beau Bridges has a very sad single episode story arc in Desperate Housewives, and I can't help but think of that every time I look at him.
Uh, I always think of television when I think of Beau Bridges.
Hello. Hello, Beau Bridges. How are you?
Remember him as the dad, as Earl's dad in My Name Is Earl. Smuggling these children in the back of this.
Why is she fanning out the money now? Where'd she get the money?
So
Well,
they're
I'm
whole.
guessing she
Oh, good.
yeah, I'm guessing she's pooling just both of their money to
Uh,
see yeah,
okay,
what
so
they've
there
got.
wasn't like a big Ponzi scheme I missed. Okay.
Well, also a lot of the hook of this movie is they're going to hustle their way to California, by outscoring people in various Nintendo or Nintendo licensed video games. That's a really weird thing for a child to say. Never flash your cash.
Well, I guess we I guess these kids should have us you
Whoa.
know
Whoa, buddy.
should
Yo.
know that
Yeah, this
a
took time.
hitchhiker picking up children is not somebody perhaps to be trusted.
I feel like it's a different movie of like I think Haley should be like carrying a switchblade and like she just goes and like knife somebody right now.
I mean, different movie.
So these two grown-ups are robbing he's
Yeah.
robbing these children that they picked up for some reason and then drove them out to then
Well, it was nice
rob
of them
them
to
and leave
leave
them in
them
the
with
desert.
their lunchbox and luggage. I mean, that was kind.
That was considerate of them, yes. They dumped their luggage out.
And their lunchbox. Yeah. Oh, white wall tires, my God. Okay. Focus, buddy. Come on. Kevin, I would clock you if we were in this situation and I found you in the back room playing video games as much as you love them.
No, they brought this
I
NES
would not
with
hit you.
them.
Just
Oh
just
yeah,
just hang on. Just so we're clear, I would never actually hit you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
wait,
But
but he
this
just
is
said like
ridiculous.
I found Fred Savage's old video game in the back of the pickup truck, which we previously established that Kevin Slater has been taking the pickup truck out for joyrides against Beau Bridges' wishes. And it's been like just tossing around in the back of a pickup truck with a bunch of landscaping equipment. I mean, I know Nintendo makes relatively, sturdy products, but I do not think that NES would still be operating.
He also he clearly voided the warranty. They said like I thought it was broken, and Christian Slater said, "Well, I fixed it."
Oh.
I get mad and I ice people. You see, when I was a kid, my mom had us have us smuggle money in our socks.
Yeah, but yeah, the one step up is stashing it in your underwear.
Mm.
Yeah. It's far less accessible that way, hopefully. This kid in the hat on the right just looks bored. I don't know.
Yeah. Jimmy.
It's one of those things where like a child is very young and they're just like passively letting the older kids just tell them what to do, you know? Ooh, Tom Petty.
Um,
That's a cool poser.
I want it.
well,
Who are
I'm the
these grown-ass
best.
businessmen
I'm
playing
the
this?
best businessman slash arcade
Listen,
player
I
in
just
this
lost
small
my
town.
job today and I will be playing this arcade cabinet for the rest of the day.
Anyway, I'll see you at Evo. Yeah, the greatest. Yeah, I'm gonna be better than I'm this middle-aged man who's better at playing video games than these actual
My
children.
boss is a butt, okay?
I just wonder what is the. I wonder if they're actually fleecing them for like real money or just like how like $10 is a lot to a kid, but to an adult, like, all right, sure, kid, I'll bet you $10 you can beat me
Ooh,
in an arcade.
10
Oh,
bucks
you
you can
okay? You
bet
did.
you
All
can
right,
beat
great.
me
Here's
at
10 bucks.
Ms. Pac-Man, yeah.
Yeah, I'll pay you in Skittles.
No, but like what Andy's saying, like, oh, $5, $10, my God,
Yeah.
what a fortune.
It is also
I'm sorry, are they
1989.
sleeping in the back of a car that's been out here for God knows how long is abandoned? Is that where they are right now?
I mean, they're definitely in a scrapyard, but I can't. It looks like wood behind them.
They're in the back of a car. They're in the back of a truck, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Oh wait, although then there's like a little window that.
Hmm.
Yeah, they look like a semi or a conversion van or
They're
something.
barely keeping this one
Oh wait,
between
or maybe
alive.
like an
I
it's an
mean,
old RV or something.
Hmm.
sure.
It's a different movie now. I want to play a game.
His eyes aren't on his
Whoa.
forehead. Whoa, kid! Yo!
Just socked him.
Fred Savage has brain damage now, my God.
Well, wait, so they've got $47 and they started off with four. So
And they're in Mallorca
wow,
now,
they really
so
fleeced either there's been many scenes that we haven't seen or they really just did fleece those
A bunch of
executives.
the way this movie moves, there's like a bunch of like scene missing, like again, they jump in the back of that hostess truck and then all of a sudden we cut to, oh, where are my kids gone?
Yeah. Hey, biker gang, will you give us a ride?
sure.
We'll give a ride to anyone who loves the road as much as we do.
We're on the run from our dad, Alex Jones. Help us.
The globalists have taken over the Mushroom Kingdom, and they've turned all the people into blocks. And you see, we gotta get through the eight worlds. Or that's something instead of my Alex Jones.
Oh
Chicken
man.
jockey.
I
I don't know.
I
I don't
thought we
know.
could get through one episode without talking about one of your little freaks, Kevin.
Sorry.
I don't know. There's something wrong with me. I keep gravitating to these weirdos.
I think you gotta stand up if you want to see people to see your
Yeah.
hitchhiking sign.
They still have the tree in the back of that pickup truck, which just slays me. Yeah, pick of these
Reno or
children who want to go
bus.
to Reno.
Wait, so are they thinking that that'll just they'll at least get Haley home and then the two of them will figure out their way to California
If
or
I if I recall, it's that like she says she's from Reno, so I guess they're getting
yeah,
like
but so or is she saying that once we get to Reno, I can get you the rest of the way there for my contacts at Reno?
she got mob connections there.
Yeah.
This guy just shaking down random children. You move on,
Now,
buddy.
now, I would love it if that child's actual parent, who is just 10 feet away, came in and just like kicked the shit out of that bounty hunter.
Also, the way that scene is set up, it's very much that joke in Spaceballs. It's like, you idiots, you captured their stunt doubles.
Yeah. Wait. Well, I don't understand what the POV shot just then was. So we pan by two bicyclists who look straight at the camera. So
This is
so that bounty hunter, trimming himself with an electric razor is the first concession this movie has made to the fact that people on the road still have to have any bodily functions that they have to attend to. I mean, these kids were not really addressing how they're eating or where they're using the bathroom.
yeah. Oh, we got New Kids on the Block in the background. That's Stand Tough. Actual protagonist of this movie, Lucas is quite awesome in this.
Oh my God.
There's a whole separate movie with Lucas. They're gonna laugh at this small child. It's like Lucas is also just like he's got like his gang. I guess they're also like backpacking across the deserts of like Utah and Nevada.
Yeah, so this very much feels like they just like took a previous draft of a movie with mostly like adults because I feel like Fred Savage and Haley's relationship is very much like two adults who like uh, are mad at they demonstrate their rapport through jibes, and then like this guy is clearly like the head of a gang of greaser bullies, and like is this just like a script they recycled and like put a new coat of paint on from the 50s or something?
Yeah, I know that the writer keep ranking David Chisholm, the guy who wrote this, he took the idea from basically two different properties. He borrowed the plot from both Rain Man and the Tommy, the Who
Hmm.
album, like rock album and movie. And so it's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like
because then when he was literally, yeah,
So
they
what
call
a
him a pinball wizard, right? Oh yeah,
yeah.
like a
so
road movie about a person who's like uh preternaturally good at a particular video game, or
Yeah. And I mean it's like so everybody and like I read a bunch of reviews of
no
this
one's good at
movie.
the Power Glove. Okay.
I think it's interesting. This is like the only use case I've heard that the Power Glove is actually useful. And I will say that I'm basing that mostly on I gotta wait for the one of the best line of this movie coming up now. It's so bad.
Utopia.
Oh, and that I think
Stop sexualizing children. I'm sorry.
that line I think is a point to your point, Andy. Like that clearly when maybe they planned for an older cast for this because that's really weird coming out of children.
yeah.
So I came across a couple of interviews from Todd Hyland and in he talked about the Power Glove because this came out in 1989. The Power Glove was still pretty new. They're filming this say in like 88, 89. Power Glove comes out in 89. Apparently the Power Glove was kind of like kept under wraps during the movie's production and they actually
Mm.
kept it in a box like that one, the one you see in
Oh.
the movie. Um So this is what he told in an interview from a few years ago. He said, "The Power Glove was big news, and it was a no-brainer to put it in the spotlight, especially to empower our slick villain Lucas, and to put our heroes at a disadvantage to his greater skill, knowledge, and experience. It's not like it's the day when you have exclusive access to products. I remember the security guy showing up with a power glove and a locked briefcase when we got our first look at it. I liked the idea so much that I gave the character Lucas Barton a similar case. When we shot, the security stood by all day and took the power glove away when we wrapped. There was no way we were leaving it lying about on the set.
Whoa, man. So this was so I think like Marvel,
This
the
was
way
them
they
breaking
like
street date on the Power Glove.
Yeah.
yeah, this is like an antecedent to Marvel, the way they're like
Like I
the
used
only
to,
script pages I get for are for my lines. I have no idea
Yeah.
what the rest of the movie's
like
about.
I used to work at a record store. We called that breaking street date, and we would get in trouble for that.
Yeah. That was from an interview with Damien McFerrin, who I'm going to be citing a bunch during this because he sat down for an interview a few years ago with Tom Holland and the kid who played Jimmy Luke Edwards, who talked about their time in the movie. I was telling Andy before Kate, I believe this is Christian Slater's first role after Heathers.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love that movie. Also, I did just parachute in here, so maybe you all knew something I don't about the dynamic between these two characters, but coming in cold, this is like their honeymoon. Like, what's going on? Like,
Their father and
like no
son.
shade. I just like I know there's well, I know because you told me they're supposed to be related, but if I just turned the TV on and didn't know what was going on, I thought I would think they were a couple.
They start out with a very passive aggressive relationship where like Bo Bridges is calling out Christian Slater for like taking out the truck late at night. Oh, you take it out to all sorts of places and you go drinking and part of the movie is them like just building their relationship as they try to track down these children across the desert. Excuse me,
Well, if I'm having an emotional moment, I better play
I
Nintendo.
gotta play this out. I have a hole that can only be filled by Bubble Bobble.
I feel like this whole dynamic is just like Bo Bridges just doesn't know how these systems work. It's like what are you doing? Where do you plug it in?
Now, I don't know if I was just like being a kid, it w felt more complicated to me than it really was. But in my experience, you could not attach an NES to a TV in like 10 seconds the way he just did.
Oh no, it was
Like
like
I feel
brain
like
surgery. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
it was
Yeah.
like like an hour long process, I think. I feel like for
it was
us.
an hour-long process, and your dad would get mad halfway through and quit, and
Especially because
somehow it was your fault. And yeah, no.
especially
Oh,
because he's clearly hooking it up using an RF converter. Those things are a pain in the ass. You got to get behind the television. You got to screw that thing in. He's playing Ninja. I want Bo Bridges to have like in the middle and just like fucking damn, god damn it.
You
Uh,
see, even parents like Nintendo. You should buy one for your family.
the number of testimonials that I came across researching when I was doing my dissertation research and reading through the early Nintendo powers,
he
there
ate a
was
Clark bar. Hang on, no, there was a Clark bar wrapper. I'm sorry. Go
how did
on.
that Clark Force survive in the desert?
In his tummy. I don't know. Well, what were you saying with your dissertation research, Kevin?
Oh, there were a lot of and this carried over from earlier Atari magazines like Activision's and Atari Age, where they would have testimonials from parents and adults to show that like you could play this with your children, kind of thing. And so there would occasionally, even in the Nintendo Power era, even though Nintendo was marketing more directly towards like the Jimmies and the Fred Savages of the world. I forgot what his character's name is already, but like they were still trying to say like, you know what, you can still play this with your children. You can still enjoy these
Hmm.
things. And it's also worth mentioning that like, this comes out like Nintendo's at the height of their power when this movie comes out in 19 this is December of 1989. This is the same holiday season where the Game Boy is coming out.
Oh wow.
So
Serious question, because I again I came in late. Is this kid coded as being on the spectrum, as far as we know?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
He
they don't say other than they say like he doesn't speak,
Hmm.
and then he's revealed to basically be a savant at video games.
mercifully they don't use any dated terminology to describe him. What I would call like Elon Musk words.
Hmm.
there's another thing that's in there. Like he has this fixation with stacking things that he earlier in the movie they have that he's in a facility and they show him stacking up blocks.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Wait, they made an
They
enemy out
came to
of
collect on that bet we made with them.
It sounds like if they were sleeping over in this abandoned drive-in movie theater, like they waited a long time to come back and like get revenge and shake them down.
How the fuck would they
Yeah,
find them there too, also?
yeah. Well, they hired a different bounty hunter to track
yeah.
these kids down. They put a hit out on them.
Yeah, okay, so you owe us $50. We hired a $10,000 bounty hunter to come find the three of you.
Yeah, it's almost like they waited a day or two.
No, no, don't take his lunchbox.
they went to like have a soda. So I was like, dude, that kid fucked you, man.
Oh! Just clock that kid, my God.
Oof.
No. Oh. Yeah, hey, buddies, these are children you're beating up, my God.
These bullies have to be like, I don't know, 17.
Yeah, 17 played by 24-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yep. Hired by the what? Hired by the businessmen at the arcade?
Well, no, it seems like these are also people who they
Oh,
beat at some
oh,
Yeah.
point.
they're separate people who are just sore about losing. Okay.
We
Yeah.
were rudely talking through this movie, and I believe there's a scene before this where they were shaking these guys down, and they were hustling them for video games.
No, poor kid. Oh my God.
The emotional core of the movie.
He lost his twin? Oh. His parents killed her. They only wanted one. They're like, two, we got pregnant. Twins are a hassle.
We're terrible people.
Yeah.
There could be only one Jimmy.
We're Highlander parents too.
So they're
Great they were openly discussing this right in front of him too. Like,
hmm. So they've set up that the Jimmy's twin sister drowned. And so the
I
photo
did not remember that at all.
there are a couple places where this movie takes really weird I say this is a weird emotional term. It's like this is the sad part of the movie, you know. There's another part that like I will point out that like when it gets
oh,
there,
I think we all know what you're talking about.
the critics who reviewed this movie when it came out, it's like a couple of them are like it's almost like the air just sucks out of the
So,
theater.
I can't tell if they're trying to imply that Jimmy's condition is a result of the trauma of seeing his twin sister die, or if it was pre-existing.
I believe
I
the
mean, knowing when
implication.
this movie came out, I would probably suggest the former, just because
Yeah,
like you can't have autism without trauma in the 80s. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, something caused it, and yeah, my understanding that's the way the movie takes that
I
is
don't
like
agree with that. Yeah, no, yeah,
yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
and the way this movie takes that is like the trauma caused him to do this. The trauma that also causes like the entire family, the marriage to fall apart and leads to this.
Although, hey, listen, if there are any people currently in power who believe that maybe vaccines cause autism, I encourage you instead to put your efforts towards stopping children drowning in front of other children.
Yeah.
And that might be better for everybody.
But check out this kid in the back playing the Play Choice 10. He is having a good time. You see him dancing around back there?
Mhm. I want to play whatever this pinball is though.
Oh, it's a slick looking. Oh,
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
what a bad person. This guy needs to get his hand off the kid's neck. He really
Yeah.
does.
he's recruiting children to hurt other children. I don't like this guy at all.
It really looked like I wonder if there's a cut scene from an R-rated version of this movie
Him
where
and
he
Jared
then
Fogle are like in
slammed
the
the
same
kid's
league.
head.
I was
To me,
thinking,
it looked like he was about to slam the kid's head down right
Oh.
into the glass
I was thinking too, Eddie.
pinball.
Your memory jogged
How
out,
about
Billy.
now? Do you remember anything now?
Yeah.
This car gets so beaten up.
Well,
That's
he
for a
did just
different
yell
version
that
of
in the
this
street.
movie.
Okay. Oh, I'm not a pedophile. What? Oh,
Ugh.
God.
So this movie needs to decide, like, is that bounty hunter uh, someone who we should like physically fear, or is he like a wacky villain? Because this scene is like, oh, what a silly bounty hunter. I'm glad to see him get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
But the previous
Yeah,
scene
I'm
was
sorry. I'm
very.
sorry. Is this a PG-13 film or is this an episode of Hey Dude? I'm sorry.
I like how no one intervened.
Well, the one guy was watching.
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
like, if I'm on the side of the road and two cars are slamming into each other, I'm not getting between those two
Yeah,
cars.
I might just put some distance between me and whatever the problem is.
I mean, I like that old guy's approach. I'm just sipping my bud.
Sit
I'm
back
not-
and drink a beer. Yeah. Whose car? Where are they? No, whose
Oh, I
car?
think this is another hitchhiking moment,
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing.
They've
Oh,
been hitching their way from Utah to Nevada now.
they are so freaking lucky that the hitchhiking has been the least problematic part for them.
I swear, every shot where a show or movie uses Reno always uses that same shot. It's night. There's the biggest little city in the world sign.
Mm. Well, Kevin, you and I just rewatched Con Air recently, isn't that where it ends up?
Oh, I don't remember. Oh, we
Pretty
can see
sure.
Glenn Campbell.
Oh. That's the rest of the movie.
Well, wait, they're saying they need money. Did they? Wait, did they have to give all their money to those bullies or just the 20 that they won from them?
No, they cannot have just gotten into this casino.
Yeah,
No.
there's no way
Am I
Well,
wrong? Like even in the
I
80s,
mean, it
like
seems like she knows people who
who?
work
Yeah,
there, maybe.
I would love to have seen the scene. Like, who is this guy? Who is this
Yeah,
man?
this is Spanky, as we've heard.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Apparently,
it's
just
a
listening
friend
to
of her.
children teaching him how to play craps.
Yeah, it's a trucker friend of her dad's who is also a trucker.
Okay.
So, another thing I came
Well, this
across
all
with
sounds awfully convenient. I'm just sorry.
another thing I came across with this movie is that this really was filmed in a casino, but they were very strict because you really can't have minors in casinos, and they had a whole dedicated section where they were filming this. It was separate from the casino floor because
Where
again,
no real gambling was taking place, presumably
yeah,
no real alcohol was around.
yeah.
No real monsters were seen holding down their spot at the craps table. Okay. I'm not taking a dig at people who have a gambling addiction. I'm thinking of a friend of ours whose cousin works the craps table, like is a dealer at the craps tables in AC. Kev, you know their name. Um, and just like the horror stories he's told me about like the people who would just the way that people hold their spots down. Let's just say when there isn't a bathroom, you improvise, that sort of thing. That's what I'm referring to.
So again, we go back to the real heroes of the movie.
Anyway, yeah, no, go.
The Nintendo counselors. Andy, did you ever call in the Nintendo counselors?
Oh no, is this like a helpline for
Did,
how to beat a Nintendo
oh, you
game?
didn't know about
Oh,
this?
was this? I'm guessing this was a 900 number that
Chips
you guys probably
Ahoy!
had to
Wait,
pay
hang
to call?
on, Chips Ahoy!
There was so Nintendo used to advertise in Nintendo Power a 900 number. People of a certain age know about those things. And there was a hotline, and they used to promote a Nintendo Power. There were game counselors you could call up who could tell you how to get through hard parts of the game. I actually went at a place I used to work with. There's a colleague of mine who had It's a friend of a friend thing.
Whoa,
I think
whoa,
her
whoa,
uncle was a
whoa,
Nintendo
whoa,
counselor.
whoa. I'm sorry, the child. Hey, babe.
Oh God.
Oh wow, and that there is a what looks like a child, maybe a 14-year-old
Yeah,
year old at most, dressed up like a casino girl,
Yeah.
casino.
It would appears to be a
serving.
child casino.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
go on, Kevin. What about the 1-900 number? What? What?
So yeah, people would call into these things and they would ask for tips. Oh
Yeah.
God, that fucking dam. Oh.
so, all right. So, for listeners, in case we have any younger listeners, back before the internet, you know, they made, there's an expression Nintendo hard, and it's because they made games very hard. There was a financial incentive for them to do so, even, not arcade games, because one, they wanted games to be too hard for you to beat in the span of a rental period from Blockbuster. Two, they wanted to sell you Nintendo Power. And now we're learning three, they wanted you to make calls to this 900
Yeah.
number
And
hotline.
they wanted you to tip your cigarette girls between rounds, between losses at the casino, which definitely existed in your area.
Yeah.
Some good
Oh,
games coming up on you.
Kev, this reminds me of when you and I played House of the Dead at that one arcade that we didn't have to put quarters in. It was like free play
Yeah.
after we paid the cover. And it's like if I was paying quarters for every round we lost, I would be fucking pissed.
Yeah. And the other
Quarters.
one I'll add to the Andy is Nintendo also for a while sold official strategy guides, which they would advertise in
Mm.
Nintendo Power and they would advertise in game boxes. So it's like you stuck in Mario 3, buy the official player's guide from us too.
Mm.
I would love to hear accounts from people who used to work the game line. I can only imagine what it was like behind the scenes, behind that
I
phone.
also, yeah, I'd love to know that too, and how many people they actually employed to do that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want that truck to just like plow right through the phone booth he's in.
Maximum overdrive,
It just
crossover.
flattens him.
The phone starts eating his face. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like the birds
Oh
breaking.
God. Yeah. Fun fact. I believe Hitchcock actually had Tippi Hedren in a phone booth when all that was happening, was just like pelting it with.
Oof.
I don't know. He put her through hell in that movie.
That long stretch of Hollywood directors who feel the need to abuse their female leads to get performances out of
Yeah.
them. Looking at you, Stanley Kubrick.
Looking at you, Kubrick.
Yeah.
Looking at you.
50, that's like $1 million in 1989.
I would think that if you have a tow truck and you illegally tow somebody's car, it'll probably hurt you a lot more than like $50, you
Yeah.
know? But
So, in case you're curious, according to the Bureau of Label Statistics inflation calculator, a $50 in December 1989 when this movie came out was is $127.
mm,
This is the bad guy from the
y-
like he was the one who beat the kids up, right?
yeah, they
Yes.
recognized the hat.
Yeah. Is he drooling? Not him, this guy, this one. No, okay.
Who said that guy from Get Out? The one who gets impaled
Yeah.
by the deer by the deer head.
Mm. Yeah, Caleb Laudry.
Yeah.
Mm. It's just the pronounced lips and the big blue eyes. That's
Mm.
yeah, he's just a fucking creep. Whoa,
How did Lucas
buddy.
get there? This
Huh.
movie is full of unsupervised children. I want to know how Lucas is getting to California.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Oh, I want to sit on one of those chairs. They look so comfy.
This is coming.
Look at those
Well,
chairs.
the bounty hunter on the phone to the mom said that the kids were crisscrossing the state. So maybe they're like somehow like getting back. Maybe they're just like
I
they went
also have
back and forth to
I ha
Lucas's hometown over and over
I
again.
have to
Yeah.
point out Christian Slater's rolled up shirt sleeve. He's leaving now, but like he is totally channeling Jack Nicholson. And I know, from Pump Up the Volume through Heathers and so forth, everyone's like, oh, he's like a young Jack Nicholson, but like he's got his shirt sleeve rolled up and I'm like, I'm sorry, do you have a pack of cigarettes in there or no? Because if not, why, what are you doing?
There's another cut of this movie, yeah, where he's like
I mean,
Snape
he
in The
should be chain
Simpsons with a pack
smoking.
of cigarettes.
He should be chain smoking with all the stress.
It's 1989. It would have considered still be considered acceptable in movies, although you'd be considered a bad kid if you were.
Well,
Because I
maybe
think
that's why, honestly.
also Lucas before like they established early in the movie that
I'm
he
sorry,
has all
where'd they get all this shit? What's going on? Like they had no money. I'm sorry.
yeah
I keep interrupting
No,
you. I'm
well,
sorry.
they won $390 in that
Oh,
casino,
okay.
and
yeah.
presumably
So
the
they bought
hotel
gift
room
bags.
I assume the hotel room they're staying in is super cheap because in Vegas,
Well, yeah.
hotel rooms are cheap because they want
Hmm.
you to
Yeah.
spend your money on the
Yeah.
casino.
Spend the money at the
You said
casino. That's in the lobby. Yeah.
you said $389, right?
Yeah.
Well, they won 400 and they gave 10 of it to Spanky.
Okay, so say $390. 309 again, because I got the inflation calculator. That's the equivalent of $992 today.
Oh.
That's,
You know, my dad,
I
when
mean,
he was
especially
still
for kids,
working,
that's a ton.
my dad, when he was still working, about 20 years ago, he went on a business trip to Vegas. I know we're in Reno, but Vegas is similar enough. It was entirely not, anything to do with Vegas. It just happened he was a lawyer, happened to be in Vegas, and he of course stayed at a hotel there, and then went out to the courthouse, and uh, there's like you can't stay at a hotel without there being a casino in the lobby. And I mean, he left the lobby at like 7 a.m. to go get to his court case, and he was like, there were people gambling. It's like not much sadder place to be than walking through the lobby of a hotel in Vegas at 7 a.m., which you will be walking through the casino there. So
Yeah, I
Yeah, so we
remember
just
going
talked
to
through a scene where Bo Bridges and Christian Slater caught up to their truck, which then had been stripped
it
for
got
parts
towed,
already.
or yeah,
Yeah, so I would assume that if I were a tow truck driver, sure, I'll take his 50 and I'll like move the truck down the street somewhere where it'll be hard for him to find. Not I'm gonna take it all the way to the chop shop
yeah.
because that goes from maybe a little prank to Grand Theft Auto. You
Yeah.
have like just straight up stolen his car and
okay, so
destroyed it.
we can stop with the upskirt shots. My God, while you were talking, there were at least
This
two or three pretty gratuitous.
how about this older guy in the Kansas City
Well, he's
Royals
he's getting
hat and
in
nothing?
on the action. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Equal opportunity, I guess.
He's
But
having a
did you
good
see the
vacation.
waitress inside the casino?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's very exposed. I mean, I'm not making any kind of comment about her body. I would be very uncomfortable if that was my uniform at work. My God.
Also, nobody,
Ooh.
nobody intervening with this guy, just shaking
Well, here
this
we
kid
go.
down.
Wait, I'm laughing because here she
Wait,
was like, "Hey, sir, you there shaking that child? Here's some information."
yeah, and she heard him. She presumably would have heard him yelling, "I'm here to bring your brainless brother back. I was
Yeah.
hired to bring."
You little
So
shit.
I'm like, oh, but I mean, I guess you're still. Sure, I'll
Yeah.
believe that you're
Yeah.
his dad.
Oh, sir, your brainless brother. Well, he's in the casino right over here. He's
He's
playing
also
all.
roughing up people in the casino. They would have thrown
He,
his ass out now.
he's right next to the roster machine. There we go.
And the air just gets sucked out of the theater.
Oh, oh man, and so doing damage to hashtag believe women.
This was pointed out in a couple. I'm trying to see if I can find it, but like a couple of the reviews from the time, like, what the fuck? Why is this in this movie? Also, that
Yeah,
that
because it
arcade
would have
is
been.
just in the casino.
All right, yeah, and also like let's review. The reason the way that they get out our heroes, everyone get out of it is they lie the young girl with them lies about being sexually assaulted, which
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, because
not okay.
they could have said, "Hey, that guy, he's kidnapping a kid." I think yeah, there are ways they could have
I
still
mean,
sick
you could
crowd
have
on
given
them.
10 more minutes of thought to the screenwriters,
Hmm.
exactly. Like something that she could yield something else in the casino.
Zelda 2.
Oh God. Bo Bridges has big eyebrows. Did I say that already?
I don't think so, but
Okay. Well, he
Wait.
does. They're not bad. It looks like the guy, Sprocket's owner from, or Sprocket's person from Fraggle Rock.
oh, Doc.
Yeah, a little bit, doesn't he?
They're just hooking up this random
Yeah,
NES to random
That
televisions
is, it's
everywhere they
not a
go.
traveling
yeah.
device.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is it's cool that just wherever they go, they happen to find a TV.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed he left one of the connecting cables stuck to the TV. The like R RCA or like whatever it was still stuck to the TV when he walked away.
Yeah, that was definitely the RF still
All
in
right, there
the
we go.
because you have people don't like doing the RF because it's always a pain in the neck. Like you had to this is for our younger listeners so there are two ways you can hook up the NES. You can either do it through AV cables. There were two, a yellow and a red one. But if you had an old TV that didn't have those things, you would have to hook it up through an RF unit. And RF's connected to where the antenna, your television antenna hooked
Yeah.
up. They were a set of two prongs that you had to unscrew the screws onto where the antenna goes and screw them in. Like no one likes doing that.
Yeah.
And there
Okay,
was, I mean, you could,
I'm going back to I'm sorry, I'm going back to the line that that they had this actress shout in the casino. Um,
hmm,
Number one, how damaging must it have been for her as a child to have to like that's your line. We're gonna feed you this line. This is the line you're gonna say. This is what it's gonna mean. Um, Number two, was that supposed to be funny? I mean,
yeah, right.
honestly, we're
No,
like
I
honestly,
think I don't
yeah,
think it was supposed to be funny. I think it was look, the kids can't physically beat this adult man, but she's using her ingenuity
so it wasn't
to
supposed to be
sick
a
the
laugh
crowd on.
line. It wasn't
I
supposed to be
don't
like
think
a
so.
whoa. Okay, all right.
So,
I will believe you, Andy, because
so
that yeah, because I just don't understand otherwise. And number three, to your earlier point, Andy, they could have. They could have just said what he was doing. Like he beat up my brother, you know.
yeah.
He's threatening to kidnap me. Like he's
Yeah.
kidnapping my little brother. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it just
So
was what a weird choice.
So here, like I said, that was something people pointed out when this movie came out. Here are two reviews, two excerpts from reviews from the time. The first is from Harry Meichowitz, the Toronto Star, from a review from December 15th, 1989. He said, quote, in what's supposed to be an innocent romp, this sort of cheap gag is not only distasteful, it's sick, calling out that. Like it has nothing to do with this movie, no place in this movie. And another one is from Janet Maslin in the New York Times, who wrote a review same day, December 15th, 1989, said, quote, most of the wizard has a
Gross.
child.
Wait, no, you just talked through that one.
Yeah,
Did you
no,
see?
yeah, he basically did a Trump line of like, no, I wouldn't have sexually assaulted her because
She
she
doesn't even
doesn't meet
have
my
any
standards
breasts.
of
Oh, that's
beauty.
so fucked up. Oh my
Is
God.
sh You
Don't do
touched her
that.
breast. Well, she doesn't have any breasts. Fuck you,
Oh,
buddy.
Jesus. That is the wrong
Like,
answer.
See, so that's interesting. So we all remember that first line of her. He touched my breast. We don't remember the fucked up line after that.
Most
well,
people
yeah,
have
so
walked
it's
out by
interesting.
then.
If this were a different movie, they could like I feel like that's not crazy for
Yeah, no, for sure.
to hear him,
Have you seen
a
the
guy
movie?
like that would say that, but
Yeah, Andy, have you seen the film Gummo?
what film? What film?
Gummo? Have you seen that?
Gummo, I have. I do not remember anything about it other than a kid
There's a scene
eating
in
spaghetti in a bathtub.
no, there's that one scene where the weird old creepy guy lets Close Sevigny and or Close and her two sisters in the car, all of whom are underage, and he goes to tr I'm sorry, trigger warning to folks, honestly. Um he's talking to them, he's being nice to them, and then he like tries to touch one of them, and the three of them, start pounding on him like, "Hey, get away from us, you creep!" And he puts them out of his car, and he's just like, "Yeah, you're gross, weird little whores, anyway." Blah blah blah, and like that's the move from gross pedophiles, if you know what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Oof. So yeah, here's another review that talked about that.
I'm sorry to interrupt, just to carry that point home. God forbid, Kevin, Andy, either of you were accused of doing something like that. Your response, I'm guessing, wouldn't be, well, she didn't even have any breasts. It would not be that.
That's a wrong answer. That's what we
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
a wrong answer.
It would not be, well, what do you mean I was grabbing her breast? She didn't have any breasts.
So yeah, this is that review from the New York Times that said about this. From Jenna Maslin in the New York Times said, "Quote: Most of the Wizard has a childish innocence, except in matters of commerce, since the big video game tournament carries a $50,000 reward. One notable lapse concerns the young girl named Haley, Jenny Lewis, who joins up with the two brothers and shares their Nintendo obsession. She helps them escape the detective who has been hired by their parents by loudly accusing the man of molesting her. Not funny at all." End quote.
Yeah. So, so Haley has now gotten her trucker friends to corner this guy who it's not really clear how he found them. I guess he just knew the girl's name and that's how he found their trailer.
I swear Jimmy's got like a GPS tracker in him because people are finding ways of tracking this kid down in
God,
the
it's Mad
desert.
Max over here. Witness me! I live, I die, I live again!
Ooh.
See, oh, they're really taking this
Oh
storyline.
man,
This is an actual
she
storyline.
Yeah.
This is not a throwaway,
Yeah.
tasteless joke. This
And
is,
we hear a cartoon punch and he should be dead in the desert. No one should
Yeah.
see
you
him
know,
again.
honestly, if you think so, so what, you
All
molested
right,
a child, huh?
7-Eleven, Slurpee, Pepsi. All right, yeah. The product placement continues.
Yeah. This guy should be in a
Have you been
shallow
beaten up for molesting a child? Hit up a
Yeah.
7-Eleven. We got the slushies for you.
This guy should be in a shallow grave next to Joe Pesci and Joe Pesci's brother from Casino.
Credit grave.
I'm complicit in this.
Wait, so he's a
I
trucker, but he
punched
said
him, but
he
I
had
didn't kill him, so let's go, kids.
he said that he had to steal old Pete's rig. Even though he's a trucker, I don't know, well, like why did they throw that line in? Because it would have been so easy to say that this is his truck that he's driving them in.
Spanky's
Is there
got
a scene
priors. He's going
missing?
to hell
Maybe
tonight.
maybe they had like a really good larceny scene and then just like they cut it out, but the line stayed. Isn't Jenny Lewis a pop star, or am I making that up?
Yeah, she used to be the lead singer of a band called Rilo Kiley.
Oh, Riley Kelly,
Yeah, she's a good singer.
yeah, yeah.
And the other star of this film, in addition to Super Mario Brothers 3, is Universal Studios Los Angeles.
Yeah. Ooh, Kevin, don't lie. You would go there and you'd be excited if you were
Oh,
a kid.
100% I would go to this.
So do you think well, I would assume that they can't if this is the sort of thing that would have been like registration would have filled up months in advance. You
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
can't just
I think so.
You just
walk
waltz
in
in.
and
We got a
Oh,
special
wait, no. Here's your slip of paper.
yeah. We've got a
or I
special
don't
for
know,
we got a special
maybe I'm
line for
thinking
kids
of-
who came off from the desert.
or maybe I'm thinking of like nowadays. Back then, video game, as big as they were, it was still a niche. Like I could imagine if it wasn't like properly advertised, like it would be hard to get like 5,000 kids.
I mean,
to
Kevin
sign
and
up for
I
this.
went to a video game festival not that long ago, in a town about 45 minutes from here, and I registered him for the Smash Brothers tournament, and there were so few people on the uptake there. He just didn't do it.
We decided to leave. It's funny because when I started watching, I was curious if this had been inspired by the Nintendo World Championships, and I'm actually wrong. The first Nintendo World Championship, which was a tournament like this, was first held in March of 1990.
Oh,
So a couple months after that, and people, when they started promoting that, compared it to this thing in this movie.
Wizard.
The closest I can think of is there were not so much game tournaments in the 80s, but there were game score competitions. Some of the most famous are like this. This is where we get guys like Billy Mitchell. Have you heard of Billy Mitchell, Andy?
Oh yeah, I've seen King of Kong.
Yeah, King of Kong and his numerous lawsuits since then. That's why I'm not going to say anything mean about Billy Mitchell today because he is notoriously litigious.
Billy Mitchell, you're a butthead. Sue me. I don't care.
And he has accusations, I will say, of cheating, of manufacturing high scores and doing them in ways that they're not supposed to. And he will sue people if they accuse him of that. So I'm not accusing Billy Mitchell of anything. I will accuse Todd Rogers.
Aside from being a butthead, yes. No.
I will accuse Todd Rogers, who also did this, of being a cheater because he is a documented cheater.
Hmm.
Todd Rogers was a guy, he had a high score in this an Activision game called Dragster. And eventually he had this high score for a long time. He was at a lot of these tournaments like in King of Kong. And then a couple of years ago, some guys actually broke down the code of the game and found that his score was literally impossible.
Hmm.
So Todd Rogers is a massive cheater.
Ugh.
And Todd Rogers is often the guy who vouches for Billy Mitchell's high scores. So you can draw your own conclusions from that. And he did sue a guy over defamation over his accusations of cheating. And Todd Rogers very famously spelled his own name wrong. And in the briefs, he called himself Todd Todgers.
Interesting.
Okay, so wow, his glasses are busted too. I guess he punched him with the glasses on.
They didn't do the whole you wouldn't hit a man with glasses
Wait a
thing.
minute, glasses, would you? You wouldn't hit a child molester with glasses, would you? I mean, that whole I didn't realize how many beats in the story that joke had. You know what I
Ninja
mean?
Gaiden.
Quote unquote joke.
I cannot I can also from this movie I cannot say Ninja Gaiden without going Ninja Gaiden. Hi. You do that in this movie.
So, anyway, we're here at this video game tournament. This is the reason any kids went to see this movie is because oh, video game stuff
Which
and
games? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and soon Super Mario Brothers 3 is coming.
Mm-hmm. And now Minecraft is destroying theaters as we
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, literally destroying theaters.
Think they were gonna make that Portal movie, or is that a pipe dream? What do we think?
Oh, I wish. I wish. Scattered booze. What did Boring do? Jimmy Woods is just that good at Ninja Gaiden. Lucas, where's your power glove now? Probably
So
not
here's the
using
thing:
because it's terrible.
as much as
Where are
Lucas is
they?
an antagonist, so far Lucas hasn't done anything actually like villainous.
Yeah, most of what he's done is just be awesome at Rad Racer.
Yeah.
Also, like, what? Where are they right now? What supervillain hideout are they? Look, what is the backdrop? Not here.
Video Armageddon.
Where is that?
Well, it's in a convention
It's
center
in
in
Universal
Universal
Studios.
Studios,
Universal
California.
Don't you like the
Studios.
plaster mock-up? Okay.
And don't you love what you see here? You could come to Universal Studios and give Universal money
And this sweaty man can yell at you too. Yeah.
and be yelled at by a sweaty man.
Yeah, give Universal money. Wait, what production company
Oh,
logo did we see at the
oh.
beginning of this
You know, it's
movie
been
again?
so long since the opening credits. Also, again, I wasn't here for that, but I'm guessing it was
With
Metro Goldwyn.
Frankenstein just bothering
It was
him.
Metro Goldwyn Mayer, wasn't
Hey,
it? Wow. Okay.
you're pretty
I
messed up, buddy.
Yeah.
The one time I went to Universal Studios Florida, I do not remember nearly as many walk-around characters as
I mean, now, yeah, now, what's that one behind him?
I just like the
That's Woody the
stepfather.
Woodpecker, isn't it? Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I just love the stepfather, like with his drink and he's clearly having snacks.
Yeah. Yeah. What? I'm
I'm gonna
hungry.
look
What?
I'm gonna look for Jimmy right after this second churro.
Listen, we had a very long drive out here.
Yeah.
They don't sell Mexican street corn anywhere else around here.
Yeah.
It's a specialty of the park.
He's doing like an eat the menu kind of thing. He's checking all the stops.
That's how he's finding his kids. He's just gonna go everywhere they serve food. Look at this kids center part. Yeah. Oh no, he's
That
upset.
kid on the left-hand side, that is Toby Maguire.
This
Whoa,
one. Oh my
shit,
God.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Oh.
Uncredited
Aw.
cameo appearance, Toby Maguire.
Oh, what a sweet little kid. Oh, he's a sweet little child. That's very cute. Oh. It's like right up there with Sam Rockwell's uncredited appearance. Oh, is it uncredited? I don't even know. The one in the Ninja Turtles movie.
Regular or menthol?
Regular, because he had a speaking role in
Oh.
it, so he might have been credited. Andy, you tell me. Like when you
Uh,
speak in a movie, you get to you're credited. Yeah,
in
Mr.
theory,
Movie Star.
you should be, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now Lucas has done something villainous. He clearly feels threatened by Jimmy, and so he pointed out to Bounty Hunter where they were.
I forgot Christian Slater was in this movie.
Another star of this movie, the Universal Studio Tour. So that line gave me
You know,
pause the last time I watched
you're
this.
you're
That is a
joking, but I
totally
would watch that.
yeah, it's totally a made up movie.
Yeah.
What a Seinfeld concept that is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zsa Zsa Gabor. First of all, just Zsa Zsa's a fun name to say
And it's called, and again,
for
going
for
back,
white people, yeah.
it's got a
So
very Seinfeld name. It's called Mayhem in Monte Carlo.
it's like was it Rochelle,
It's
right?
like you can see that on the same night as Rochelle. Rochelle was premiered.
Rochelle and Mayhem in Monte
Prognosis
Carlo.
Negative. It's starring
Sack
Zsa Zsa
Lunch.
Gabor and Pee Wee Herman as the romantic
Oh,
leads.
Sack Lunch. How they get that? How
How
they
did they
get
get in
that?
that sack?
It's so big. It's so small.
We're just evolved into Seinfeld references now.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Some of this is fairly uncomfortable.
Now,
It's
now,
just adults preying on children at this point. I
now,
mean,
if imagine you're just a random person in that tour, do you think this is part of the show?
I wouldn't think so.
oh man. Like, see, they're kind of holding him back. They should be holding him back more. Don't be scared of the ride, little girl. Come on now.
Ooh,
Whoa.
Ooh.
he's gonna have fun death.
Ah,
No yelling on the
that's
bus.
the most relatable character in this movie.
All right, Kevin, once again, I came in late. Is that how you opened up this commentary with Andy? Just sit down and have fun, damn it.
I should have. That's gonna be the tagline for this.
Oh
For
wait,
this
or this is a
commentary.
podcast. Or stand up and fold laundry and have fun and listen.
Fold laundry and you wash the dishes and walk your dog and just stare into space.
Yeah.
Just
Be
dissociate.
on your daily commute. Damn it, damn it.
Shout out to everyone
But have
mowing their
fun.
lawn
But have fun. Have
while
fun.
we're doing this.
What's that?
It's a shout out to everyone mowing their lawn while we're doing this. The bowels of Universal here. This doesn't look safe. There's a
I'm
lot of.
assuming this guy's going to be reduced to bits by the end of this movie, just
Why
like
is
the
he
risks
not
he's
dead?
taking.
He
Yeah,
should have died after the encounter with the
If told
truckers.
those truckers, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, they should never find him again, you know?
yeah.
Oh wait, luckily the tour was going through a building that was the upper floor of the.
This guy has some RoboCop energy.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
game show host. This
Yeah.
guy.
No, yeah, I mean, he's definitely dressed like it's the future.
He's got a very Phil Maher from Nick Arcade kind of vibe where he's a little he's a little
Bill
too over
Maher.
the
Oh
top.
my God, I forgot he was on Nick Arcade.
This guy is a sub Phil Maher. He could not he is no Phil Maher, but yeah, that kind
Oh,
of over the top energy.
Wait, Fillmore, Bill Maher.
Phil Now I don't know.
Oh.
I'm looking this up. Talk amongst
Wait, are
yourselves.
you talking about the like
The Nick Arcade
uh
host.
oh, I thought you were talking about Bill Maher, the pundit.
Yeah, me too.
So I
I
was
could be
totally
wrong.
wrong. His name is Phil Moore. Sorry,
Bill
Phil Moore.
Moore.
I went,
Right, that was like Bill
Ooh,
Maher.
gorgeous.
Oh, don't touch the
Can,
children.
we
the
can we
skin
stop
crawl.
talking about the appearance of children?
Can we?
We've had two female characters, both who are children, and both of them have been sexualized in some way.
They're in the patent model room right now. Like, what is this? It's just all kinds of garbage.
I'm with you. That's awfully convenient.
It's an elevator.
Why do
Wait,
you,
if I were him, given the steps he's taken earlier in this movie, I would have just stood on top of that lift as it went
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
also, I can't help but think with this bounty hunter, they said he doesn't get paid unless he catches the children. All these incidental expenses he's getting. This is
Yeah.
a journey. He's traveled at least 1,000 miles, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to get his bounty by the end of this movie. literal ticking clock in this movie because there weren't stakes. What a complicated set.
Yeah.
A hush falls over the crowd as we reveal.
Do you guys think Jeff Keighley wants this to be the set of the next Summer Games Fest?
I was reading a bunch on the legacy of this movie. Supposedly, I could not find any evidence. One of the articles has said that there was a video Armageddon style tournament like this in Philly somewhere, and I couldn't find anything about that.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that means they tried to recreate part of the set or if they just had a tournament like video
Yeah.
Armageddon.
Woo, the best one!
Woo! And every child who went to see this movie just shat themselves.
Yeah.
The theaters all smell terrible.
Oh, wait, are they having to play this game with a giant joystick? That is not how the game was designed
That's
to be
not
played.
how it works.
It's an they're having played with it. It looks like a modified NES Advantage, which is not a fun thing to play Mario
That's not
with.
that's not an everybody has to use the power glove. No,
Yeah.
that's not.
Oh, they're fucked.
Oh my God.
And also like,
Does anyone else find these clacky countdown clocks very satisfying to look at?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Reminds me
or
of
just me?
the old thing at what's it a 33 station.
Oh
The
God,
ticking
yeah.
times
The
for the
clacky
trains.
clack schedule board. Oh God, I miss
RIP.
that so much. Yeah, I
Also
really miss
like
that.
who plays Super Mario Brothers 3 for the high scores?
Yeah, I mean that's the
Right, like Smash Brothers, you could, or Mario Kart or something. You could imagine, but like, yeah, like something like this. What were you gonna say, Andy? Andy, what were you gonna say?
no, yeah, just that yeah, that it's a as a score, it's very Oh, yep, you see Jimmy's the only one who's gotten the raccoon suit so far.
In the first level. Yeah, he finished the first level of Mario 3 faster than the other ones did.
Bud
Somehow that
Bridges is
translates
gonna
to
kill that
points.
kid, not on
Yeah, or
purpose.
I would have thought if I were to do like a contest. Wait, find the. I mean, I guess he's just yeah, assuming that if it's a Mario game, it's got a warp.
Yeah. Also, that I'm going to be pedantic here. That is 1-3. That's not 1-2. You can also tell like, the person who's playing this game, like the footage, is they're a little uncertain of themselves. I mean, it's just that I played Mario 3 for a lot that I'm used to just racing through this part.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess maybe they should be uncertain of themselves. This is supposed to be the first time any of these three characters has played or played or ever seen Mario 3.
The turtle.
I know Fred Savage. I was watching too. Yes.
But yeah, but if I were designing a competitive Super Mario Brothers 3, I would just have it like whoever can get the farthest in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another comment that critics had about this is they thought it was boring to watch people play video games. Clearly not predicting eventually the massive amounts of Let's Players.
Yeah. Those score numbers that they're showing on the leaderboards don't make sense because Lucas or Jimmy's score briefly like was reduced to like 30,000 when he died, but then it was back up to the 48,000.
So for example, here's a review from the San Diego Union Tribune from Bill Hagan, who said um, it's fun to play video games. Watching someone else is like watching wallpaper peel, and that's pretty much the story of The Wizard, a movie only the folks at Nintendo can fully appreciate. Or Susan Volchina of USA Today, who concluded her review saying, quote, "The filmmaker's biggest mistake. Have you ever tried to watch someone else play a video game? Boring."
Whoa. That is, I mean, yeah, Jimmy must be a real savant too, because I would not have discovered that flute.
How would you know where I wonder if this is why
Yeah,
so many people in the schoolyards knew where that thing was, had to have been this movie.
maybe, yeah.
I remember being a big deal when a kid I was with when I was in like third grade who showed me the first whistle where you crouch on the white
Oh, yeah.
platform. Oh, we're in Giant World. That one's a fun
Yeah,
land. I'm
yeah.
partial
But
to the five though. I love Sky World.
here's the thing though, if you're just playing for score, then finding a warp doesn't matter, right? Like, really, wouldn't the best way to play this game be grab a Koopa Troopa shell and just like jump in front of a staircase over and over again and just rack up the points that way?
Yeah, you would think this is a suboptimal route. If you want a fun video to watch too, I think you'll like this, Andy. There's this guy Summoning Salt who's like big into speedrunning communities. Did a whole history of Super Mario Brothers 3 speedrunning, which is really cool.
Mm.
And about
So
like the exploits that people use.
in the last second, Jimmy has won. Do any of those scores make sense, I wonder?
11 billion points.
What? No.
You don't get the
No.
cheer.
Yeah, that guy should not have a change of heart. He should, be getting his ass kicked by truckers.
The bounty hunter character should have been out of this movie like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Jimmy, Jimmy. Pwn noobs, pwn noobs.
So I wonder what's the story after this movie? Does does Haley ever keep in touch with him? Presumably she keeps living in Reno and they go back to living in Utah. Are they pen pals? When Fred Savage turns 18, does he move out to Reno to live with her?
It is the whole thing of like when I know a couple of other media have like played with that idea of like what happens when like the boy adventure or whatever has to grow up. There's a really great Canadian cartoon called Stan versus Evil. I think that's what it's called.
Hmm.
Um which is let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, Stand Against Evil. No, this is wrong. There's this Canadian show that was like basically there was a cartoon about a kid who is he's a chosen one in an adventure and like he's at this point a jaded like 50 something who's
Hmm.
just sick of doing like killing demons.
Well, here we go. We're gonna have the moment of emotional catharsis because even though Jimmy won the tournament, that wasn't what he was out here to do. He was here to see some dinosaurs, I guess.
So I looked up this. This actually got me in a fun rabbit hole. They're now called the Cabazon dinosaurs. They were made famous probably in the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yes.
They
That's
were
landmark though, yeah.
Yeah, they're located off I-90 in Cabazon, California. The dinosaurs have names. The Apatosaurus is named Diney, and the
Tiny.
T-Rex is named Mr. Rex.
Oh.
They
And
were
look,
built.
there's a whole thing inside here,
Yeah,
right?
there's a shop in there.
Oh,
They were
nice.
built by a sculptor named Claude Bell, who he finished Diney in 1981, but he died without ever completing Mr. Rex. Mr. Rex was apparently going to have a big slide from the top of his head to the bottom of his
Oh.
tail. But a weird thing about this place is that after he dies in 88, the dinosaurs change hands a few times, and in the 2010s, they were owned by a young Earth creationist group who turned that thing in the middle they see there into a creationism museum.
Ugh.
They put it in the museum. They put them in the museum.
Yes. They basically
All
use
right,
them as
so it's like
evidence
they're
that,
standing alongside human mannequins with like
yes.
long beards and long hair and long clothes.
Fortunately, they are no longer owned by those creationists. And the people who do them now, they basically just have them as a roadside attraction. And they paint
Yeah.
them different things for different times of the year. At one point, they actually
Oh,
painted Mr. Rex in the suit
Mm.
that Pee Wee Herman has.
oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Uh, so okay, this that photo, Jimmy is clearly the same age as he is now. So did Jennifer die like
10 minutes,
a month
like,
ago?
yeah, a couple
Last
months.
week.
Yeah.
It's been a rough week for
Oh,
me
yeah, no,
too.
he just refuses to let go. This happened a month ago.
Yeah, so the mom divorced the divorced Bo Bridges and married this asshole in the span of a month.
She moved on real quick, yeah.
What an eventful week. So, Um, Todd Holland also talked about this scene a bunch because he apparently had to really lobby for this scene. The studio wanted a different ending, one that he felt like didn't have a real emotional core, and he basically wanted like a scene where she like throws the lunchbox out the window after he wins the tournament, having been like fixed.
No.
And he eventually he wrote a script for this that they would not let him distribute to the actors. He had like one copy of the script they had to share amongst them, and they filmed it in like one day in the actual dinosaurs. That's not a studio. That's in the dinosaur itself. He's very proud of that scene, of this scene here.
Well, yeah, good for him for
He
pushing
recognizes the
to actually
emotional core of
give.
the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just like video game wackiness or open advertisements.
Yeah, and he talks about how like a lot of the through line of the motivation about why he's doing this, the whole thing with the dead sister and everything was kind of his. He takes credit for that.
Hmm.
They have seatbelts in the back of this pickup?
This is the 80s. Oh, they
They
do
seem
have a
to.
seat, they do have a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh,
very
Oh.
sweet. Very nice.
I'm reminded of those old station wagons where you have the fold up seats in the back. We had those when I
Yeah.
was a kid.
All right. So I did like that. Um, it seems to show that Jimmy is still the way he is. He's not magically quote
Yeah.
unquote cured, but he is with enough, care and attention, you can learn how to communicate with somebody whose brain operates differently from you and learn how they show you affection and how so this is a less insensitive portrayal of
Honestly, yeah.
neurodivergence than I expected.
Yeah, given the time period also. Like they just you're either gonna have the magical autism aspect where it's like that's why they're so good at the video game, which would okay, there's a little bit of that, but also like we can pinpoint the why they are like this and possibly fix it by the end of the movie, and that didn't happen, and I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Oh, 'cause this is bothering me. That cartoon I was trying to think of was called Gary and His Demons. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Um, but so yeah, credits are rolling. What do we think of this?
Boccaccio is a really cool last name. Sorry, what?
I think this movie could have used another draft. It does sound like Todd Holland, the director, perhaps shares some of our thoughts on the movie. But even some of the things, like, yes, the emotional core rubs up against all the product placement, but also it really veers wildly in tone from like the sad, depressing stuff of child death, the creepiness of that bounty hunter, but also the wacky hijinks of bounty hunter versus dad and big brother. It's
Yeah,
a curious time capsule of the
yeah,
time when we were anticipating Mario 3.
yeah. I mean, I agree with what Andy said. I mean, again, I missed full disclosure. I missed the first act. That's okay. But from what I saw of it, I like the acting. The kid actors seem to be having a good time, and it's entertaining. There's some weird gray areas in terms of the whole thing about like bad adults trying to persecute children, which was a thing here and prior to this movie and then afterwards too. That always gets uncomfortable. Um, and it was very much an advertisement, knowing that like certain video like Mario Brothers 3 hadn't come out yet. Like this is basically an advertisement for that. So you got to factor that in. But just as a movie, just without that context, I don't know. It's fairly entertaining. We've certainly seen worse, and I anticipate we'll see worse this summer too as well.
Yeah, and they're definitely worse video game movies. I thought it was
Super Mario Brothers appears. Okay, sorry. Go on.
Fun fact about that: Luke Edwards, the guy who played Jimmy, the main kid. Apparently, he said in an interview with Damien McFerrin that he was promised a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3, and they never gave him one.
Oh, bullshit. Give him one.
He
Well,
said,
yeah, that's how we learned. Put it in his contract next time.
Yeah.
he said in an interview, quote, multiple times I was promised a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3 by the producers of the film. I don't want to name any names, but that copy of Super Mario 3 never arrived.
I don't want to name any names, but just hit up IMDb. You'll find out. Welch on me.
All right.
Well, in an average movie, you've got like 20 people credited as different types of producers, though. So
yeah. So this movie, if we were talking about this,
yeah.
If we're thinking about this as a commercial, the last thing I'll say as the credits wrap up here is that it had a $6 million budget. It made about $14 million. So it made its money. It made its money, but it was nowhere near what they were hoping it would be. They clearly wanted this to be like a Minecraft movie where like all the kids come to see the video game movie, and clearly that didn't happen. And it also was not positively reviewed by critics. I will share in the notes one extremely savage review of this movie.
an extremely Fred Savage.
Yeah, he wrote it. He wrote it, didn't he?
I think that's a good note to end on. And that will do it for today's episode of Scandalous Games. If you like what we're doing and want to help the show, subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcast and leave us a rating. If you want to learn more, check out our website, scandalousgamespodcast.wordpress.com, where I publish the show notes and the sources for every episode. Our theme music is Occam Secretly by Seek Knowledge via the Free Music Archive, used under CC BY NCSA 3.0 US license. If you have a question, comment, or idea for a topic for a future episode, email us at scandalousgamespodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Kevin Impellizeri.
I'm Andy Hunter.
I'm Kate.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next Scandalous Games Summer next month when we do another syncable commentary. And remember to subscribe to Fat Roll Gaming on YouTube and listen to So We Were Talking About Beast Wars wherever you get your podcasts.